So, hello again. Beyond the Breakdown 3 Meditation on a Possible Aftermath. All of a sudden, what we have been thinking for the last 50 years has to be rethought from scratch. I'm going to say something about 3 districts. 1. The end of human history, which is clearly unfolding before our eyes. 2. The ongoing emancipation from capitalism, and the imminent danger of techno-totalitarianism. 3. The return of death, 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 to the scene of philosophical discourse. The return of death, at last, to the scene of philosophical discourse, after its long modern denial, and the revitalization of the body as dissipation. Number 1, the philosopher was best anticipated in the staying with the trouble. She suggests that the agent of evolution is no longer man, the subject of history. The human is losing its centrality in this chaotic process, and we should not despair over this, like the nostalgics of modern humanism do. At the same time, we should not seek comfort in the disillusion of a techno-fix, like the contemporary transhumanist technomaniac do. Human history is over. Human history is over. And the new agents of history, are the critters. Oh yeah, the critters. The world. The word critters refers to small creatures, small playful creatures who do strange things like provoking mutation. Well, the virus. Burroughs speaks of viruses as an agents of mutation, biological, cultural, linguistic mutation. Critters do not exist as individuals. They spread collectively. They spread collectively. They spread collectively. As a process of proliferation. The year 2020 should be seen as the year when human history dissolved, not because human beings disappeared from planet Earth, but because planet Earth tired of their arrogance, launched a micro-campaign to destroy their Wille zur Macht. The Earth is rebelling against the world, and the agent of planet Earth are flood, fires, and most of all creatures. Therefore, the agent of evolution is no longer the conscious, aggressive, and strong-willed human being, but molecular matter, microflows, and uncontrollable creatures who invade the space of production, the space of production, and the space of discourse, replacing history with history, replacing history with her story, the time in which teleological reason is replaced by sensibility and sensuous chaotic becoming. Humanism was based on the ontological freedom that the Italian philosophers of the early Renaissance identified with the absence of theological determinism. Theological determinism is over, and the virus has taken the place of a theological God. The end of subjectivity as the engine of the historical process imply the end of what we call capital H history, and implies the beginning of a process in which conscious teleology is replaced by multiple strategies of proliferation. The spread of molecular processes replaces history as macro project. Thought, art, and politics are no longer to be seen as projects of totalization, Totalisierung in Hegel's sense, but as processes of proliferation without totality. After 40 years of neoliberal acceleration, the rear of financial capitalism has suddenly ground to a halt. 1, 2, 3 months of global 3 months of global lockdown, a long interruption of the production process, of the global circulation of people and goods, a long period of seclusion, the tragedy of the pandemic. All of this is going to break capitalism dynamic in a way that may be irreversible. The power that manage global capital at the political and financial level are desperately trying to save the economy, injecting enormous amount of money into it, billions of billions, figures, numbers that now tend to mean zero, 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 zero. All of a sudden money means nothing or very, very little. Why are you going to give money to a dead body? Can you revive the body of the global economy by injecting money into it? You can't. The point is that both the supply side and the demand side are immune to money's stimulus because the slump is not happening to financial reason. We are passing that lead one when one day the body comes out from the confinement of quarantine. The problem will not be the rebalancing the relation between time, work, and money, rebalancing debt and repayment. The European Union has been fractured and weakened by its obsession with debt and balance, but people are dying, hospitals are running out of ventilators, and doctors are overwhelmed by fatigue and fear of infection. Right now, the problem is what are our concrete needs? What is useful for human being or collectively for therapy? Money cannot buy the vaccine that we don't have, cannot buy the protective masks that have not been produced, cannot buy the intensive care department that have been destroyed by the neoliberal reform of Europe's healthcare. No, money cannot buy what does not exist. Only knowledge, only intelligent labor can buy what does not exist. So money is impotent now. Only social solidarity and scientific intelligence are alive, and they become politically powerful. But what Agamben says is only an obvious with his controversial texts. I want to go beyond the probably and the useful is back in the social field. Usefulness, long forgotten and denied by the capitalist process of abstract valorization. The sky is clear in these days of quarantine. The atmosphere is free from polluting particularities. As factories are closed and cars cannot circulate, what is left? The third point I would like to reflect on, not me, but before Berardi. The third point I would like to reflect on is the return of mortality as the defining feature of human life. Capitalism has been a fantastic attempt to overcome death. Accumulation is the ersatz that replaces death with the abstraction of value, the artificial continuity of life in the marketplace, the shift from industrial production to info work, the shift from conjunction to connection in the sphere of communication. What if the overload of connection breaks the spell when the pandemic finally dissipates, assuming that it will? It's possible that a new psychological identification will have imposed itself. Online equals sickness. We also have the imagine and create a movement of kerosene that will compel young people to turn off their connected screen as reminders of a lonely and fearful time. This does not mean that we should go back to the physical fatigue of industrial capitalism. It rather means that we should take advantage of the richness of time that automation anticipates from physical labor. It rather means that we should take advantage of the richness of time that automation anticipates from physical labor and dedicate our time to physical and mental pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. The massive spread of death we are witnessing in this pandemic may reactivate our sense of time as enjoyment rather than as the postponement of joy. At the end of pandemic, at the end of the long period of isolation, people may simply continue sinking into the eternal nothingness of virtual connection, of dancing in an techno-totalitarian integration. This is possible, even probable, but we should not be confined by the probable. We should discover the possibility hidden in the present. It may be that after months of constant online connectivity, people will come out of their houses and apartments looking for conjunction. A movement of solidarity and tenderness might arise, leading people toward an emancipation from connective dictatorship. Death is back at the center of the landscape, the long-denied mortality that makes humans alive.